So back pain is not sciatica. They're two very different things. Back pain is just back pain. Sciatica, though, is pain shooting down the leg because of a pinched nerve in the lower back, specifically the sciatic nerve. Now, today in this video, I'm going to run through every single different cause of back pain that you could be experiencing. And then I'm going to run through 3 things you can do to prevent back pain. And then I'm going to run through 3 great exercises, stretches to free up the lower back, mobilize the lower back and get yourself feeling better. And then I'm going to run through 3 strengthening exercises to get things as strong as possible. Lastly, I'm going to run through swimming and then gardening and specifics about that with regards to the lower back. Now, I'm James, I'm an osteopath with 3 clinics in the UK and I treat lower back pain all day, every day. It's pretty much what we do here. So this video is going to be really useful for you. You're going to get lots of value and you're going to pretty much understand exactly what's causing your back pain and how to fix it. So with regards to what's causing your back pain, we're going to run through the different structures that can do that. Now, one of the most common causes is a disc prolapse or bulge, or even internal disc disruption. Basically, damage in your disc. It looks like this. The disc in your spine should be nice and intact and strong. If it starts to damage, the annulus fibrosus around the outside here starts to damage and crack, and the inside material, the nucleus pulposus, can bulge its way out, push its way through, and you start to get a disc bulge or prolapse. And that can be very, very painful on its own. If you've got this, you may well notice that you get a general ache in the lower back. Painful when you bend forwards, when you twist, that's often painful. If you extend backwards or decompress your back, you might find the pain eases. So this is really a common area of back pain, and it's because of a degeneration in the disc. If your disc is super strong and healthy, it doesn't happen in the first place because we don't have the ability for that inside nucleus pulposus to work its way out and bulge through the area. So the way to find out if you've got one of these is you have an MRI scan. An X-ray is only going to show bones. So it will show a narrowing of your disc, but that will only show wear and tear. If you want to know if you've got a disc bulge or prolapse, you've got to have an MRI scan. Do I advise you to have an MRI scan? No. Often not anyway, and the reason why the NHS or doctors often don't give you an MRI scan is because it doesn't change anything. It doesn't get you better. It doesn't fix your back. All it does is tell you that you've got a disc prolapse or a disc bulge, and the outcome or what you're going to do to fix it, exactly the same as if we hadn't done the MRI scan. We need to get your spine moving better, we need to strengthen it, we need to help the alignment and mobility of the area. So that is a disc bulge or a disc prolapse. Now, how do you prevent a disc bulge or prolapse? You spend less time slouching in a chair. If you're slouching, you're putting pressure into the discs. This pressure into the discs gradually over time will wear them out. That wear and tear creates a weakness, and the weakness, as I say, allows that bulge to develop. So look after your spine, keep the posture good, keep it mobility good, keep it strong, and you can prevent the disc bulge. The next way we're going to get back pain is the facet joints. So the joints down the back of the spine here. So running all the way down through the back of the spine, you'll notice you've got these joints which join every single bone together. Now these joints should sit on each other and run nice and smoothly, but you can get what we call facet joint irritation, where there's a damage or irritation, inflammation around these joints at the back of the spine. If you're getting this, it might be more painful when you lean backwards over to one side, because if you lean forwards, you're separating these joints, and if they're aggravated, that's relieving on the joint. If you lean yourself backwards as off to one side, you're going to find that you're compressing the joint. Normally it should be okay, but if it's aggravated, that's going to make it worse. So if you've got this facet joint irritation, that's what you're going to find there. The reason why it gets aggravated is injury or wear and tear in the joints. Wear and tear in the joints means the joints don't run smoothly, and just like a pain in the knee, for example, rather than things running smoothly and happy, what we're going to find is that it's aggravated and it's painful and it starts grinding and it starts getting inflamed and aggravated. Again, the solution here is, surprise, surprise, get your spine mobile, freed up, moving better, better aligned and more strong and stable. The next reason you may well have back pain is what we call sacroiliac joint dysfunction, or SIJ dysfunction. These joints here, the big joints around the pelvis, your pelvis comes round and it connects to your sacrum. And it does that on either side here. Now, if you've got aggravation in this area, you may well find that it's painful when you go and stand up Maybe you get a sharp pain often to one side. This is not a both side thing or central thing. This is to one side, and you'll feel pain just below the belt line in there. So this can happen because your pelvis can get torsion on it, or it can just be aggravated from bending or moving the wrong way. That's a common area of pain, and I'm going to show you again exercises we can do to relieve that. Now, another problem you can get is what we call spondylosis or spondylitic changes or arthritis. Now, this basically includes the whole spine. Spondylitic changes or wear and tear isn't isolated to a joint. It's not isolated to a disc, it's the whole thing. So if you've got wear and tear in your spine, what you will often find is that it starts to look a little bit like this. Now, this is a good spine. That's what we do want. This one's starting to wear out. This one is more worn out, and this one is the most worn out. You can see with a spine that's not worn out, the disc height is good, so they're nice and plump. The disc inside nucleus pulposus is intact within the annulus fibrosus, the outer material. As the spine starts wearing out here, you're going to get the bulge coming through. You can see that inside material bulging its way out through that damaging, wearing out annulus fibrosus. You're going to start getting wear and tear on the joints. The disc height will start reducing. That's what this one looks like. You can see the disc there is bulging through. That's going to put pressure on the nerves. You could get pain down the leg, you get pain in the back. The disc itself could be painful right in the back. And you can see the disc height, so the height in between the bones is reducing because the disc is wearing out. It flattens off. And then you get like this. Now you can see a proper osteophytic lipping around the disc, osteophytic lipping around the joints. Everything looks very jagged and worn out. The disc height has collapsed, so the bones are almost together, and then you get bulging. You can see how this progresses gradually with age. This is a 20-year-old. This is maybe 25, 30. This is 40s, getting into 50s, and this is 70s, 80s. You can see as you age, you're going to get wear and tear in the spine. Wear and tear doesn't have to equal pain though, because think about this. If wear and tear, if you say, oh yeah, you do an x-ray and your back's looking worn out, you have back pain, you could say that's causing the back pain. But then why, if wear and tear is creating back pain, do many 80, 90-year-olds have no back pain, but they definitely have wear and tear? The point is, you can have wear and tear without pain. So if someone's got wear and tear in their spine, doesn't mean we can't give you the right exercises to free the joints up, to strengthen, to correct posture, and ultimately you end up with no back pain, even though the wear and tear, of course, is still there. So that's the goal with our spine, of course, also is to mobilize the spine, get it moving better, strengthened, and back into alignment. Now, the last bit of back pain that you could be getting is what we call a spondylolisthesis. Now, this is where you get a fracture right down here in the lower part of the spine, and one of the bones here slips forward on the other bone. So rather than the bones being stacked up on top of each other, one slips forward because there's a bit of a fracture at the back on the joints, and that allows a slipping forward. You can sometimes notice you've got this if you get pain in the lowest part of your spine, which is more painful when you lean backwards. And then if you feel down through the spine, you can feel the bones, 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 and then there's a step. There's a little wedge where the top bone has moved forwards on the lower bone. This does affect, I think, around 5% of people. It's not always painful, but it could be a reason why you're getting back pain in there. Again, to fix this problem, mobilization through the spine, strengthening through the spine, that's always going to help. Now, you may well have been to the doctor and they have told you you've got non-specific lower back pain. This is a common diagnosis which people get, and they come to me and they're very frustrated with this because they're like, non-specific lower back pain, it's not helpful. I want to know what's causing my back pain. And I say to them, I know that's not helpful. However, it can be quite an accurate diagnosis. And the reason why you often get the diagnosis through a doctor of non-specific lower back pain is because the back pain is not, you can't pin it down. So you can't go, oh, you've got a disc prolapse causing the pain, or you've got a facet joint causing the pain. Sometimes you've just got back pain and you can't pin it down to one structure. It's just a general back pain. And the idea is non-specific lower back pain. You just got back pain. Let's just get you moving better, feeling better, stronger, and more aligned through here. We're going to run through 3 things you can do to prevent lower back pain. Now, the first thing is when you're sat. When you're sat in a chair, office chair, sofa, I want you to push your bum to the back of the chair and then sit yourself upright. And if you do this, you'll notice that you get a curve coming into the lower back. This is a good thing. So as I say, bum to the back of the chair and then sit yourself up, and you will find that you maintain that lumbar lordosis in the spine, which we do want. If you don't push your bum to the back of the chair, you end up slouching and your lower back slouches and you get more pressure into the disc, and you're going to aggravate the discs over and over again. So it's really important that you push your bum to the back of the chair, sit yourself up, and you'll find that the back is just happier in that position. This is especially important if you're on your sofa in the evening. You do want to make sure that you're sat to the back of the sofa upright rather than slouching, because you're going to be there for a couple of hours in the evening. That will put pressure into the discs and it will continue to aggravate your back over and over again. When you're bending forwards, another thing you can do to prevent lower back pain, make sure that when you bend, you don't bend with your back rounded, because that's putting pressure into the discs. What you want to do is push your hips backwards like that and maintain that lower back curvature when you bend forwards like that. That's important to keep your back in a strong, healthy position. Yes, we sometimes have to bend all the way down and round the back if we want to get to the floor. But, you know, generally, if you're just bending forward to pick something up or do your teeth over a sink, you really want to be there. And that will stop you from aggravating your back over and over again when you bend forwards. You can see that to get your back better, yes, I've got to give you the right exercises to get things moving forwards, but just as important is stopping the things that continue to pull it backwards in the wrong direction. That's things like bending the right way, sitting the right way, and also sleeping in the right position. Now, with regards to sleeping, it is a difficult one. There's no right or wrong. What I'd often suggest is just find a position that you sleep best in and stick with it. So I often say to people, sleep on your back. If you sleep on your back, you're aligned, you've not got sort of stresses and strains on the shoulder or the hips. If your back hurts when you do that, put a cushion under your knees and it will raise your knees up, flatten off your lower back and take pressure off the lower back. Because when you've not got a cushion under your knees, you'll find your back extend slightly and that puts pressure into the facet joints, which is not what we want. So a cushion under the knees will just ease there and take pressure off the back and let things sit in gravity. If you must sleep on your side to sleep because you can't sleep any other way, you've got to do it, that's fine, but maybe put a cushion between your knees, because what that will do is it will stop your knees dropping in, which puts a bit of strain onto the hips area. If you put a cushion between your knees, you'll find it just takes some pressure off the lower back and that can ease things. Sleeping on your front, not ideal for lower back pain, but some people, again, there's no strict rules because some people really get on well with that and they love sleeping on their front. Do what you need. So I want to run through 3 different exercises you can do to mobilize, decompress your lower back now. Now the first one is a traction or a decompression of the lower back. If you've got a disc aggravation in your spine, you want to do the opposite of compression, because compression is only going to make things worse. Think of a jam donut with the jam bulging out. If you compress it, the jam's going to come out more. We don't want that. We want to do the opposite in traction, which if anything will help the jam to come back in. So you're going to put your hands on the edge of the chair that you're sat on, hips off, and then just let your hips drop so I can feel the weight of my hips and legs tractioning down, which tractions your spine, takes pressure off the disc, which has the ability to get things feeling a lot better in there. You can do it on a chair like I just showed you, hang yourself for 30 seconds to a minute, or go to a kitchen counter, pop your elbows on the kitchen counter, and then just let your hips drop off again and let your back traction out. And that traction through your spine can really help the discs. The next thing we're going to run through is a simple stretch which rotates the lower back, stretches all the way through the buttocks into the lower back. I want you to lie on your back. And in this position, grab one knee and pull across the body, but up a little bit as well to there. Now I can feel a stretch all through the buttocks into the lower back, and this is rotating my spine, but I keep my shoulders flat to make sure my thoracic spine is this way, my lower back's twisting that way, and I get a great stretch through here. You hold that for 1 minute, so 60 seconds, and then you do the exact same thing, the other side to there, again 60 seconds. So that exercise is rotating the spine, and what we're going to do now is we're going to not only use a rotation exercise, but we're going to do an extension exercise. So we want to stretch your spine in a sagittal plane as well as the transverse plane, which was that previous exercise. So you're going to lie on your front into this position, hands in front of you, just here, either side of your chest, and then push yourself up and just hold in that position for 5 seconds and back down. And then again, up 5 seconds and back down. And you're going to do that one for 5 lots of 5 seconds. So the first exercise, rotation through the transverse plane and stretching out all the muscle through here. The second exercise is that extension through there. Sorry, that's the third one, the first exercise with the decompression. With this extension one, what we often find with people with lower back pain, wear and tear, it flattens off, it gets worn out, and you get a flatter lower back. That's not good. We want to do this extension with you lying on your front, pushing yourself up to extend through, decompresses the discs, but also eases everything through there. Those 3 exercises alone will make you really, really free through the lower back, help the back pain, and get you feeling moving better. We now want to think about strengthening, because there's no point mobilizing your spine if you're not going to think about strengthening it as well. So to strengthen the back, we're going to run through this exercise first. I want you to go on your hands and knees, and you're going to extend your leg all the way up as high as you can to there and back down. Now this is activating the glute muscle, which is a big stabilizer of the pelvis, but it also activates the muscles through the lower back. Now once you're happy with that, you can do that easy enough. As you raise this leg, I want you to raise the opposite arm to there and back down. And then again, all the way up, high as you can and back down. You're going to do 10 reps on one side, 10 reps on the other side, and that is activating the small stabilizing muscles throughout the spine to get things as strong as possible through there. The next exercise we're going to do is the bending technique, but I want you to do it as an exercise. So rather than knowing that you should be bending that way, I want you to go down, touch just below your knees and back up again, and do that 10 to 20 times. And in doing this, you're rehearsing the movement. You're rehearsing the correct way to bend forwards, keeping your back straight. But as you do this movement, of course, all the muscles that are doing this movement are strengthening and working every single time you do the movement. So in doing this exercise, just 10 times up, 10 times that way, what you're doing is you're strengthening, stabilizing through the back, and then the third exercise is building on from there. So once you're happy with that one and you know you can do it, I want you to do it on one leg. So you're going to be in this position with one leg coming down to there and back up. Now this is really strengthening the lower back, but also the buttock area into the leg, and you get this transverse strengthening pattern throughout the whole area here. If you can do 10 reps, 10 reps on that leg, all the way up and down, and I can feel that working in there, and then 10 reps on that leg, only go as far as you can, you don't have to go all the way down, then you're going to be activating everything through here, strengthening the area, and as well as the mobilization exercises, you're getting things super, super strong. So you've got 3 things to prevent your back pain, 3 exercises to mobilize your back pain, 3 exercises to strengthen. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about swimming and gardening, because that's what everyone talks about. So gardening, I have so many people coming in, especially around the summer, spring, and they get back pain because they're gardening. Why is this? Because it's such a bending forwards, heavy activity. People are always in their garden, bending, twisting, pulling up weeds, and they get back pain. I've told you about this. Do not bend like this. The more people can garden by bending like this, the better. So bending like this, twisting, moving around, it's a stronger lower back position. If you know you've got to be on the area doing something for a while, don't bend over for a while. Get a little knee pad and kneel down. I know it's not ideal, but just kneel down and do the activity on your knees. You're going to put way less pressure into the discs in the lower back. Every single time you bend forwards or pick up some things, it's there. So you can see I've maintained that curvature in my back as I'm bending and moving and lifting. That's so important. You want to maintain that curvature in the spine. Do not flatten off your back. Do not round your back as you bend forwards, because you're going to put huge pressure into the discs. And that's why people always start to aggravate their back when they're gardening, because they're bending and moving the wrong way. And when they're in one spot for a long time, they're not getting down to their knees where they can support themselves with a hand and take pressure off that lower back. Is swimming good for the lower back? Yes, it's a great exercise. The reason why is because when you're swimming, you're in this position and you're in water, so you've got no gravity acting upon your spine, but yet you're moving your spine. You're extending, you're flexing, you're twisting. Exercises where you're in out of gravity, but you're mobilizing your spine are great for freeing up the discs, the joints, everything through the lower back. So yes, go swimming. It's a great exercise. A stroke that you might find a bit aggravating while you're swimming is breaststroke. If when you're doing breaststroke, you're extending, keeping your head out the water, and you get lower back pain, it's often because you've got a bit of facet joint aggravation, which doesn't like extension, and you're extending your back too much, in which case you've either got to do a different stroke, front crawl, or you've got to do breaststroke with your head in the water, or just figure out a way that you don't go into that position and swim around for an hour in that position. You want to flatten yourself off in the water so that you're across the water rather than the hips sag down and the chest up. So that is back pain. That's what you need to know. We've got all those things that you can implement. If you want to watch this video again, do that. I'm going to place in chapters throughout this video so you can jump to different sections to re-watch certain areas. If you need any help, please comment down here. You're going to get lots of help from me in the comment section, and there's a couple more videos up there that you can watch if you'd like as well.